morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution, episode 1123, 1123. Good morning. Happy Saturday. Welcome to the weekend. I looked out the window this morning. The sun is shining. The pond has melted. It's completely water, not ice. So I guess I was reading somewhere. I think one of our local news stations. This is and I didn't like the headline. I don't know who they hired to write headlines, because I think it's the same outlet that I've seen. Like, that's a stupid headline. Like, a fourth grader wrote that. The hottest. It says it's the hottest winter on record. It wasn't hot. It was the warmest. But the hottest? Who's writing this? Wasn't the hottest. I don't like that word. In terms of winter weather, we had some 20 below zero days. But it was very warm. It was a very mild winter. And I believe it's the warmest winter on record for the state of Wisconsin. So I ain't mad at that. Our lakes, it was the shortest amount of time the lakes have been frozen. I think they were frozen for about a month. I think they finally froze mid to late January. I think when we had that like sub-zero weather for 2 weeks, that's the winter we had. Otherwise, it's been like fall outside of a couple weeks. So yeah, I think they officially were not frozen last week or 2 weeks ago. So shortest frozen lakes, warmest winter. And I'm okay with that. Because it brings us one step closer to the edge. And I'm about to break. It brings us one step closer to spring, which I say this. And it's funny because I don't know if it was the same news channel, but they were celebrating the start of meteorological spring, which I believe is March 1st, yesterday. And March is coming in like a lamb. I think we've talked about this probably last March, probably the March before that. Like back in Anawan, that was like a big thing when we were in grade school. Is March going to come in like a lamb? Or come in like a lion? Will it go out like a lamb, go out like a lion? So you can say that March is coming in like a lamb because I think it's going to hit 60 today. It's going to hit 70 tomorrow. That's very lamb-like. We'll see if March goes out, like a lion. I hope not, because March 30th is the Madison Card Show. Let's throw that banner up. Here's the next four. Shit, I forgot to send back the contract for April, May, June. So there you go. March 30th, April 20th, May 25th, June 22nd, the next 4 months of the Madison Card Show at the Sheraton Hotel on John Nolan Drive. March, April, May will be at 3 ballrooms, 175 tables. So March, April, May, we'll have the 3rd ballroom. June, we'll see. Summer months, we'll see. It's kind of a wait and see. So yeah, I looked out the pond. It's just water. No ice. I love it. Love it. Badgers got Illinois today. Badgers and Illini here in Madison. I don't know what time that's an early game. But I'll have to have that on. I was sorting yeah, I guess I did some sorting. I'm mainly cleaning. So I've been teasing the 1 Million Cubs project is coming to a close. We're in the we're in the finale of the 1 Million Cubs project as I close in on 1 million Cubs baseball cards. So there's already a plan in place for the 1 millionth Cubs card. And I wanted to drum up some going for it here down the stretch in hopes that we could pick something up, and that's what's happened. So I think some details will be released on that probably in the next couple of weeks. I had to take some photos, so that's between photos and a visit. Somebody's going to come visit me next week. I've got to get my spaces cleaned up, and especially as I close in, like that's something that it's like, man, I should have dragged this out further because I want it to be organized. Like my dream would have been to be organized the whole time. But it's just sometimes I got 30,000 Cubs or 60,000 Cubs, and they were coming in faster than I could sort. It just wasn't. And then when I went into cards and working for yourself, you're working twice as much as if you're working for the man. So I just lost track of time. So ideally, in a perfect world, I would have been sorting and had my Cubs collection organized. So when somebody came and, show us your 1 million Cubs. And so here's the Ryan Sandberg box. Here's 7,433 Rick Russell cards. Ideally, and I think that's going to be my life's project, is getting them organized. Obviously, it's difficult to do both at the same time. It might be even more difficult to do it after the fact. Now you're not sorting 3,000. Or I think I started the project with around 75,000 Cubs cards. So it's just one of those where it gets out of the way. So getting 1 million Cubs, actually, it was probably something I think initially I thought it was going to take longer initially, but then by like the second year, all of a sudden it's like, holy crap, I got to slow down. And then I was, getting 125,000 to 150,000 Cubs a year. It's like, oh, okay, we're kind of on the fast track. And then, the more it was out there that this is a thing, the more people were willing to contribute. And then the more people, my buddy David down in Elk Grove, Mike Summer in Bloomington, Steve Miller out in Cleveland with Greeny Sports Cards. Those were the three biggest contributors. Oh, Rick out on the East Coast was a big contributor. That was able to garner a lot of cards, and like David. I think David contributed. David in Elk Grove. And some of this came through Greeny Sports Cards and Steve, like 125,000 cards total. I think we did 60. I think I bought 60,000 from him in one transaction last year. So, there's between Rick, Mike, Greeny, and David, they probably contributed. I'm trying to do the math here. I'm trying to think. Probably 200,000 to 250,000, because David was like way up with 125,000. I think Steve and Greeny, I think that was only, what'd we do? We might have done 50,000 from that. I might have got 50,000 from them, but then a lot of what David sold me was through Greeny's. Mike Summer contributed a lot. Rick contributed a lot. So probably 250,000 total from those four, or close to it. So, when you find connections like that, it speeds up the process. And now we got to sort. So I do appreciate, like, people are like, do you need them in any particular order? It's like, no, don't waste your time sorting. But it was nice. A lot of people would say, I'm like, well, here's how I'm sorting them in players. Like, if you have the time, go for it. And so a lot of people did. And so that was helpful. And I'd open a box as I'm like going through boxes, like, oh, hey, A, B, 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 C, 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 C. This is nice. Scotty Dubs sorted a bunch of cards for me. And I think he realizes how long it's going to take me, because I gave him, I think, what did I give Scotty Dubs? 3 5-row boxes. And after like a month, he's like, man, that takes a long time. And that's just one 5,000 count box that he started with. And I'm like, yeah. So I was doing some sorting last night because I was super stressed. Like I feel like weight has been lifted off my shoulder, at least for the moment, because I was really wanting to get, and I always underestimate how much time it takes to move boxes around. And Cooter had the first snarky comment this morning. We're on mountain time today. Cooter's big on uniformity, and I am too. I just don't live by it. I just don't. I think it's a great idea. I think it's a great concept. Uniformity is a great concept. I just don't live by it, unfortunately. But I'm trying. I do want to get all of my boxes 4-row boxes, because right now my Cubs collection is a mishmash of 4 and 5 rows, and then like long boxes, flat rate boxes that were shipped to me, and I just kept them in those boxes. But I'm working to get everything in 4-row boxes, but that's going to be a long process as well. What is nice is a lot of the Cubs are in like 500, 600 count boxes. And that's what I need for when we do my YouTube live sales. Perfect for the bulk sales in flat rate boxes. So I can just go and I killed 2 birds with 1 stone. I grab a bunch of boxes that I can fit in the medium flat rates, and then put the Cubs into 4-row boxes. So I get uniformity. I get empty boxes that I can then reuse for my sales. So it all works out. So I did some sorting last night, getting ready. So I stressed out because I wanted to have some uniformity with like the main. So I have in my card room, I have is that 1 or 2 shelves? That's 2 shelves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 full heavy duty shelves, all Cubs. And then there's some others just spread out. Kendall, promo code. I'm going to drop that in the chat. So kind of when I set up my card room initially, and I knew I was going to have headaches, because when you put 3 million cards into a room, and there's like you start with no organization, you're going to end with no organization. So I tried my best. Okay, these are going to be Cubs shelves, and just throw shit on the shelves. But it's like here, and I've got shelves that are like sorted. These are like Goodwill boxes that I haven't looked at yet. There's a lot of those, surprisingly. So some of the unsorted Goodwill boxes are in like my Cubs space. Like there's a couple shelves, and then I have Cubs memorabilia, and it's like, okay, I want to kind of I need to move this stuff around, get some 4-row boxes to make it uniform, so it at least looks okay for the pictures that I have to submit. So that's what I've been working on the last couple of days. Finally finished that up. My wife got home and she's like, "You ready for your pictures?" So my photographer wife took the photos. She's a way better photographer than I am. So plus I've got to be in some of the photos. So took some goofy photos. And then I have visitors coming, some film. It's not really a crew. I think there's only 2 or 3 people coming, but they're going to do some filming here next week. So now I've got to get this room. And actually, in doing all of this cleaning, organizing, sorting, I was really like, I came down here this morning, and maybe I'm just in a happy mood because the sun's out and the pond is no longer frozen. And it's like, oh, happy day. And I come down here and it's like, wow, because the rec room, I had to get the rec room cleaned anyway, because the cleaners come Monday, the day after tomorrow. So I had to get that. And like, I pretty much got all of that cleaned up yesterday. Now I was able to get, I finished. I still have some boxes to go through, but I'm finished for now on my organizing and sorting the Bowman. So I do have those, and I wanted to get those sorted, but I've only got a week? Shit, like 9 days. I'm going to be at spring training, so I wanted to get caught up on shipping for my handling time caught up, and then I want to get somewhat organized, and then so today I'm going to be heavy on shipping, and then next week I really need to focus on getting my. This is going to be easy to clean up and get ready. But then the shipping room is going to be a bitch. So that's what I have to tackle next week. And then I also want to get prepared for spring training, which I fly out on March 12th, which is 10 days away. Holy shit. So I grabbed all of my cards that I'm going to be taking out. And I need to start. I've got another rookies batch that I may just have shipped to Arizona, and that's just going to have to be its own book when I get there, which is not ideal, but I don't have enough pictures of some of the new guys, and there's a lot of new non-roster invites in camp that I don't have photos to make cards of yet. So I think I'll just use this week and then have them shipped out to the hotel. So I got my Cubs for spring training organized. And then I think next week I'll have to, I mean, probably tomorrow, I'll have to start maybe watching some basketball today. I think today is when I get back into basketball because we're winding down. And the regular season, the doldrums, the winter blues of college basketball. And now we're on the upkick for tournament time. So I believe this is this week when it's later this year. Somebody pointed it's later this year. But I think some of the early, because I think the Summit League is like one of the first. I think they're the third conference tournament champion. Like I think there's 2 tournaments that end, but I think there may be, because they usually play their championship on a Tuesday night, Summit League championships. But I think they're the third automatic bid. I think Summit League usually gets the third automatic bid based on time. So let's look at 2024 first round. Where's my bracket? When does it start? Doesn't even say when it starts. March 8th. So next week. So Friday. Is that right? Yeah. Or Thursday. What's March 8th? Saturday is the 9th. Friday is the 8th. I always thought the Summit League started on Thursday. I should know because I was there three years. I thought we started on Thursday and ended on Tuesday. Like Thursday were the play-in games. And then Friday, Saturday. Yeah, I guess it did start on Friday. I think Friday was the play-in games. And then Saturday, Sunday, Monday, championship Tuesday. So Friday. So probably other tournaments probably start Thursday, Friday. So there we go. Fun. Let's go to the chat. I did find some fun stuff in my sorting, so we can talk about that. I do want to wrap up by 10 this morning, which is 25 minutes away for Hobby Hotline. Who's on? Does anybody know Hobby Hotline panel today? I know they're going to talk about SGC, PSA. I know we're going to hear that again. But at least if Dr. Beckett's on, at least I can listen. Cooter jokes. I guess you meant 8:30 Mountain Time. Yeah, it's one of those. I just felt like laying in bed. I got a text at 5 a.m. from my former coworker, my former boss. Text me at 5 a.m. Hey, sorry for the early text. And I think if somebody's texting me at 5 a.m., I'm thinking someone's dead. I know that's doom and gloom, but if somebody's texting me at 5 a.m., and sometimes I'm up at 5 a.m. Usually I'm sleeping until 5:30. But at 5 a.m., if somebody's texting me at 5 a.m., that's probably not good news. You know, I'm well past the age of 5 a.m. texts like, hey, drunk dials. Like that was 20 years ago. So I don't get that anymore. It's We had to rush your dad to the hospital. That was like a 2 a.m. phone. And my mom was smart when that happened that she called my wife because she knew I wasn't going to answer. And because my wife and I are exact opposites when it comes to, well, everything. But when it comes to phone calls, I will not answer your phone call. I probably see it. If you try calling me, I probably see it. And I'm not going to answer it. Just text me. Just email me. My buddy texted me yesterday, and he's called me like 3 times, and I'll respond to text, but it's like, dude, I just don't want to talk on the phone. So he texted me yesterday. He goes, hey, I've got a lead for you on some cards. Like my buddy's friend or my buddy's brother has a bunch of cards, doesn't know what he has, but he knows what you do. He's like, I gave him your contact info. He said he's going to email you first. I'm like, perfect, because I don't want to talk on the phone. So, yeah. So I don't like talking on the phone. Like, make it a text. We can email, we can text. That's what I do. Where was I going? Oh, I got a 5 a.m. text this morning from my former boss. And I'm like, shit, which coworker died? And so I read it. And fortunately, it was a positive text at 5 a.m. on a Saturday. So Wisconsin's playing Illinois today in basketball. One of my former clients is a huge Illini fan. And he still, he works with one of my other, I was his sales rep. Actually, it's Soil Biotics, Kankakee, Illinois. I still use we text every once in a while. And last few weeks ago, I'm like, dude, I still use your mug. Like every morning I drink coffee out of your mug. So my former boss texted, he's like, hey, we're going to the game, but do you want to meet us up for brunch this morning at 10? And I'm like, I think it was 7 when I saw, or might have been 6. I think when I saw the text, it was 6, and I'm like, I'm going back to bed. I didn't read it. So it was like 7, and I'm like, I'm doing the math, and I'm like, I hate going out for breakfast or brunch. I'm like, I don't really want to. I'm like, sorry, man. If he would have said, like, if he would have texted me last night, I probably would have made it work because I haven't seen Corey in a while. Corey's the guy that my former client. So I think my old boss has season tickets to the Badgers. And I'm sure he's like, hey, Illinois is in town. You and your wife can come up and we'll take you to the game, take you out for brunch. So he probably would have paid for my meal too. Like put it on the company card. So yeah, mountain time. It is mountain time today. Good morning, Cooter. Brian, what's happening? Good morning. Red Light 34, what's happening? Victor's in the house. Good morning. It's a beautiful day in Chicago. Go Cubs. Hey, speaking of baseball, Matt Chapman is signed and Scott Boras. The market is well below what Scott Boras had anticipated, I think, because Cody Bellinger got he was looking for what, 200 million plus, and he got 80 with opt-outs after each year. That's what Matt Chapman's contract, but Chapman got what, 3 years, 55 million, and opt-outs every year. And we say that like he only got 55 million over 3 years. Like, it's fun to go back and look at Sports Illustrated covers from like 1992. Baseball's $1 million man. And it's like, because he, like Ryan Sandberg, made $1 million in a season. And it's like, oh my God, they're paying those guys $1 million? Fast forward 25 years. And it really wasn't that long. By the end of the decade, by the end of the 90s, like I remember, was it Mike Hampton signed like a huge deal in like 90? I was still in high school. So it was like 97, 98. And it's like, wow. And like you start the decade, like $1 million, like it might've been, you started the 90s. Maybe somebody was making 2 or 3 million in a year. But by the end of the 90s, it was like these giant. And then a few years later, A-Rod signs that $250 million. And really, are there contracts like outside of a few? Like that A-Rod contract still like one of the, I think from a overall perspective, not broken down by AAV, but from a total dollar standpoint, that $250 million total is still one of the highest. Bill Simus, good morning. I popped on YouTube at a perfect time. There you go. Philly Joe's here. Good morning. Kenneth, what's happening? Good morning. Dan, what's up? Sent you a link to the Keenan and Lakin step-by-step rewatch podcast. Thank you. Yes, that's definitely, if they're doing a rewatch similar to Boy Meets World, the Pod Meets World podcast, I am totally down because I loved Keenan and Lakin. And Christine Lakin, one of the underrated girls, women of the 90s. Like, we all think of Stacy Keenan, that's Dan's girl, Topanga, Kelly Kapowski, Christine Lakin, because she was like a tomboy on Step by Step. But then there were some episodes where she it's like, whoa, Christine Lakin. Mikey's here. What's up? I'm here. I hit a Nolan Ryan Stadium Club rainbow foil of 25 last night from a blaster. Hey, where's Brian Bourne? Bat signal to Brian Bourne. He's a giant Nolan Ryan collector. He may be a buyer. Brian, good morning. Is it too late to contribute to the millions? It's never too late, but I am strategically getting there. So I will spoil it. If you're watching this, you're not going to contribute the 1 millionth card. Spoiler alert. The 1 millionth card has been set, and now I'm strategically getting there. So in essence, it kind of is too late, yes. So thank you to all that have contributed. Ricardo, what's up? Good morning. It's been a while, and I setup you have there. Oh, have you not seen the new setup? So it has been a while. It's been at least, let's see, how many months? When did we start this setup? Late July, right before the National. So August, September, October, November, December, January. Yeah, 7 months. Yeah, I still use my fingers to count sometimes. Unicorn Cupcake. Hey, speaking of that, what's up, Unicorn Cupcake? Good morning. I had a crazy dream last night. I'm getting some wild dreams lately. Last night, I had a dream. I was in my hometown, Anawan, Illinois. And maybe because they had a tornado. So they did confirm it was an F1. So just a little baby tornado went through some farmland outside of Anawan. Did destroy a couple farms. So that's bad. So it's not a baby tornado to those people. Nobody got hurt, so that's good. Just some John Deere tractors and barns. Dreams. So I had this dream last night that I was in Anawan and I was going to the post office to get. Now this is like, I don't know if this was the same. I think I had multiple crazy weird dreams that I remember, which is usually I don't remember my dreams like this. But so I'm in Anawan. So the post office in Anawan, Illinois. And so it's wild. So my hometown, Anawan, Main Street isn't the street you would think would be Main Street. And I think a lot of towns are like this. It's like, well, Main Street is where like it's the main thoroughfare. You would think, well, it's the main street. Well, not in Anawan. Main Street's mostly residential. There's like, of course, like well, it's not there anymore, but there used to be like a grain elevator was kind of on the side. The bank, but the bank fronts to Front Street, which Front Street is what you would think would be Main Street. It's Route 6. Front Street runs through town, east to west. Main Street runs north to south, and really the only two things outside of houses on Main Street are the post office and the fire station. And the post office and fire station are across from each other. So I had a dream. In my dream, I went to get the mail at the post office, and I can't remember what I was doing at the post office, getting mail, obviously, but I was at the post office, and the fire sirens went off. Okay. And so they were opening the doors and all these fire trucks. And so I'm like parked at the post office. And I'm like, so I'm just gonna wait here. I'm just gonna sit here because I don't want to drive, and they're trying to get fire trucks out. So all of a sudden they're like bringing hose. They're like wrapping my car in fire hose. I'm like, what are you guys doing? They're like, you got to get out of here. And I'm like, what? Well, I stayed here to get out of your way. Which way? You've got to tell me, which way do you want me to go? Because I don't want to be in your way. So they told me to go out that way. So there's like an explosion at the ethanol plant, which is outside of town, like a mile outside of town. And you could see it. And it's like, and I tried to take pictures, and it didn't. My phone camera didn't work. So maybe this is like my phone camera is not going to work for spring training. So that was one. And then I had another dream that LeBron James, the ethanol plant's on fire to LeBron James. My brain is freaking weird. My next dream, LeBron James was touring, and he was playing in the basement of a house, like a residential house. And so like graphers were after him. So I think these are all like, and my brain is like melding spring training thoughts with like random shit. So LeBron James is playing in the basement basketball court of this like condo. But he can't go in because there's graphers like all over, and they're like stalking him, the paparazzis. LeBron James playing in a basement of a condo in Anawan. I don't even know if it was Anawan. It was somewhere. And so I was just like, I don't even know why I was there. I have no idea what my capacity was with LeBron James in the basement of a condo. So I went around back, and that's where they had like, so LeBron James got out in front, but then like instead of just walking into the house or condo or whatever the hell it was, he had like go down 3 doors down and then around. And there was like a walking path in the backyard. And so I'm in the back, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm not supposed to be here. And there's like graphers all around. And then LeBron James never did surface. Like I just went back. I went inside the condo, and then my dream ended. And I never saw LeBron James. The hell was I smoking last night? Let's see. Merle's here. What's up? Good morning. Victor says, I'm here to help out sorting. Hey, we may just have like just everybody come over and help me sort. Mr. Archer, the great 1 million Cubs sort. Cooter says the standard shipping container changed the logistics world. One size and type of box will change your life. I still think you should do an eBayer collectors meetup over a weekend and have us come sort your carts. I'm down for that. Porter's in the house. Good morning. Cooter said, I thought Rich said it would be Dr. Becky. I think he did say that in the chat the other day. Max says, you just stay live. So much more interesting. You just stay live. What was that in regards to? You just stay live. Rock Latex, good morning. Are you missing a card on the top row back behind you? Where did it go? Yes, I'm actually missing a few. 1, 2, I think I'm missing 4, and they're on the counter. Actually, you can see them. See the book? Those cards go in that shelf. So I was taking photos, and so those were some of the cards that I wanted to show off in the photos. So I took them out of the case, did a couple pictures, and I just didn't put them back in. Nice catch. You can't see the 3 missing are right there. Boop, boop, boop. 3 in a row right there. Actually, and there was, I thought that. Oh yeah, because it's the Ernie Banks rookie, and then it's 3 Fingers Brown, a Frank Chance, and maybe another Frank Chance. For some reason, I don't have a Joe Tinker in there. Or do I? Oh, maybe I have the T205 Joe Tinker, and I just didn't see it. Oh, it's not a Frank Chance, because the Frank Chance I was thinking of is up there. Anyway. JW, what's going on? Good morning. Red Light says, 32 watching. Come on, be a manly man. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, visit my eBay store, come to the Madison Card Show, use my promo code Cubs. We'll just shill it all at once. Royals 417, good morning. Max says, I love how people bitch about athletes making hundreds of millions, but don't say a peep about the billionaire owners making their take. That's a really good point. We complain about the athletes making millions, but we don't say anything about the billionaire owners. It's a good point. Baseball card curmudgeon, what is up? Big Harv is here. Can't wait for spring training. When you get on Pacific time and the East Coasters can't make it live. Big Harv will be on West Coast time. I think, is Arizona, are they mountain? I can't remember. What time is it? I have to, sometimes I have to, like every year I have to Google, what time is it in Phoenix? It's 8:52. So it is mountain time. Is that, are they is Phoenix mountain time? They don't do daylight savings out there. I'm excited. I'm 10 days away from spring training. I'm excited. I'm seeing pictures every day. I've got friends that are out there. I'm going to miss some of them, but a lot of us are going at the same time. So I'm stoked for that. I've got my room at the hotel, which is right next door to Sloan Park. So I basically park my car. Here's the crazy thing. Last year, so I rent a car because I've got to get to the airport. And then, if we go out and do things at night, which I usually don't, but if I want to go to Buffalo Wild Wings at night, or Tilted Kilt is in that area, I usually go there once. So I rent a car, and it's if you rent on Turo, it's basically cheaper than Ubering everywhere. Because that shit adds up. Like if you want to, I want to go to Tilted Kilt tonight and get an Uber. I just rather, spend that money on Turo. Last year, I rented a freaking shit ride. It was a Hyundai something, and it wasn't as nice as the pictures, and I don't care. Like, as long as it works and gets me from point A to point B, like, I'm not driving it that much, but it was such a pile. I had to pull off the interstate because I didn't think the headlights were working. They were that dim. I even had the brights on, and it still didn't work. I still could barely see. And I can't remember what I paid, like $75 a day. It was a little more expensive last year. I rented a Mercedes this year. Really nice, at least on the pictures. And I think I'm paying like $50 a day. And I paid $75 for this Hyundai that I couldn't even see at night. So I'm excited. Spring training, 10 days away. JW says, nice Nolan hit to Mikey. Mac says, hit up Brian Bourne. He's a big Nolan Ryan collector. Baseball card curmudgeon says, congrats on the million. Fantastic. Not quite there yet. Merle says, time to start on the second million. I did joke to my wife, and she has a bit of a different sense of humor than I do. And I said, now I've got to figure out. So I said, the plans that are in place for the millionth card and the pomp and circumstance. And I said, so now I got to start thinking about what I'm going to do when I hit my 2 millionth Cubs card. And she just looked at me with oh, no, you didn't. I'm kidding. She's like, that's not funny. I'm like, but what's the difference? I have 3 million cards already. What's another million? You would be able to tell because I don't have any more room for another million. JW, thank you. Merle says, is it official if they aren't all listed in trading card database? If you come over and count them and put them on TCDB, then yes. It's a pain, man, putting them on TCDB. I went through, and it's been kind of crazy busy. And how many are in my TCDB right now? I have 9,067 total cards logged on TCDB. Now, some of them are not part of the million. So there's some White Sox Dylan Cease cards. There's a few Venezuelans of Cubs. What else is logged? There's some other just non-Cubs. They're not part. Don't worry, they're not part of the count. Ryan Sandberg, minor league card, Phillies. Big Harp says, go for 1 million Cubs Hall of Famers. It's funny when people say, it's funny when people ask, now, are those all unique cards? It's no, they're not. And then they're disappointed. I've mentioned this many times. Oh. And then I'm like, but there's only 214,000 unique Cubs cards, so it's going to be a while. Well, not at this pace. At the pace Panini and Fanatics are pushing different rainbow colors, we're going to get to 1 million unique Cubs in 3 years. But from 1886 to 2024, there's 200, I think just under 215,000. Now that's according to Trading Card Database. I'm sure there's some that aren't on the catalog. I'm sure there's many cards, but it's not 700,000, 800,000. JW says, have you seen Joey Votto with a beard now? I didn't even recognize him. No, I have not. Kenneth says, I would gladly fly in from Oklahoma to help you sort. Hey, jump on a plane with Cooter. There you go. Cooter and Kenneth. Dan says, if you are still sorting cards next summer, I will drive up on a weekend in July, August when I'm in town, non-national weekend. Hey, I'll take you up on that offer because I still will be sorting Cubs cards next summer. I guarantee that. I feel like I'll still be sorting Cubs cards in 2035 and 2045. I said 2035 like it's way into the future. And it's like, oh, that's only 10 years, 11 years. Max said, you said you were going to get off by 10. I said, just stay live. Oh, gotcha. Well, I want to listen. We're probably going to go over 10 o'clock, but if Dr. Beckett's on, I want to watch. Brian says, you know your audience is dedicated when the background is a live version of what's wrong with this picture. Ripping and flipping cards. You didn't check your headlight fluid. I didn't. That's probably what was wrong. Dan says, my Turo car last summer was a 2017 Nissan Altima, $49 a day. That was similar. Like mine was like a 2017 Hyundai something, but it was like 70 because it was spring training, and I probably waited to book. I bet if I booked now, I would be paying significantly more, which kind of concerns me booking it soon because I've seen like Turo where they cancel your car. Where's my Turo app? There's Uber. Now I can't even find Turo on here. Turo, there it is. Oh, it's white. It's a white app with black. Trips. It's a 2016 E-Class Mercedes-Benz. Wait, I'm looking at the overall payment. It seems more than I thought. How many days is it? It's 8 days. So it's more than $50. What the hell? Did it go up? Or maybe it's like tax and shit. I'll view the receipt. Maybe I should have opted for the Hyundai. Let's see. Because it's $72 a day. $72 a day. There's a 1-week discount. Oh, I got an early bird discount for booking. Oh, and then you have to pay $10 a day for protection. There's an airport fee. There's sales tax. Okay, so it ends up being. So what's the total price? So my total price. Oh, and it just texted me. What the hell was that? So it's $704 total divided by 9. So it's $78 a day is my final cost. That's crazy. It must have known that I was in the app. Anyway, enough about my rental car. Cooter says, I think they should change the comp structure so that pitchers get paid by the pitch and batters get paid by total bases and putouts. Yeah, kind of like performance. It's like instead of performance bonuses, it's performance salary. Mikey says rent a Ferrari. You know, they probably have. So let's look up Ferrari on Turo. Let's see. So we're going to go to Phoenix, Sky Harbor. Let's just look up today. Can I search Ferrari? Cars, and we want highest. Let's just go to highest price. Let's see what the highest priced cars, but this is for Monday. A 2023 Corvette, $1,245 a day. An Audi R8, a McLaren GT, $628 a day. An Audi R8 Spider, a Maserati Gran Turismo, only $553. A freaking Bentley. You can rent a Bentley Continental GT, $499 a day. A Porsche Cayman, $499. A Rolls-Royce Dawn, $468 a day. Here, a Ferrari California, $385 a day. A Rolls-Royce Ghost. A lot of Corvettes. A Maserati Gran Turismo, $284 a day. Not bad. There you go. That's fun. And I won't be buying any or renting any of those. Brian says, I found rentals are way cheaper at the airport than Turo. It's cheaper at first, but once they add the fees in, yeah, that's what I know. I do get the early bird discount, which offsets like the airport fee and some of the other fees. Brian says, I live in Miami, so way more rental competition. Yeah, I would assume there's a lot more rental competition in Miami and probably high end down in South Beach. Brian uses Expedia to rent cars. Hobby Hotline is Danny, Dr. Beckett, and Victor. Donald's late, but good morning. All right, I'm going to wrap it up and watch Hobby Hotline do some shipping. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. Visit my eBay store. I should be adding some new singles to the store this week. 99centcards.com. Link also in the description. I will be live tomorrow morning. I've been saying 8:30, but I haven't been hitting that mark lately on weekends. So let's just call it 9. Let's call it 9 a.m. Central tomorrow morning. Hobby Hotline or Hobby Evolution. I'm going to go watch Hobby Hotline now. Have a great Saturday. Enjoy the card shows if you're out and about doing card shows today. We'll talk at you tomorrow.